What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter von Panda here, and you're probably getting tired of hearing me say it, but be prepared. It's the Boy Scout motto, and this isn't like a prepper channel per se, but I wanted to show you something kind of in the spirit of the hurricane, which is heading right for Hawaii, and I was just there. I actually texted some of my buddies there about what's going on, and they're getting prepped. Here, this iRonsnow Dynamo Solar Radio is a pretty inexpensive little device, but it could be one of those things that makes all the difference in the world. This is the IS399. I thought we would just unbox it, do a true unboxing here, check it out. So it does come with a micro USB cable here, presumably for charging the device and or charging your other devices from it. Looks like we do have an operation manual here, which I might reference as I'm looking through this thing. And I do like this. It kind of has a little bit of that American Red Cross look. It's got the red and white here, and we have a crystal solar panel right up here at the top, and overall it looks like a kind of a nice quality piece. It's not heavy at all. The plastic's pretty light. This red portion here is like a soft touch, which is kind of interesting. We have a pretty big handle there. I've got no problems putting all four of my big fingers through there, nice and thick. And here's the Dynamo handle on the back end. We have a screwed down panel here where I think there is a rechargeable battery. So the Dynamo handle will pop out like that. Looks like it hovers out just a little bit. We have a swiveling handle up here so I can turn it, and look at that. You can see that LED right there is on, I guess showing that I'm charging it. And then it does fold in on itself right there so you don't locks in place. We have a retractable antenna right up here on the top, which I will use here in a second. We have a USB 5-volt out, the micro USB in, and an SD card slot right there. And then we have a 5-element LED flashlight spotlight on the front, so if you're carrying this you can carry it just like a spotlight, and then it recharges up there. Now on this side we have a whole host of things. So we've got light right there, and you can see that turns that bad boy on, off. Then we have the lamp on this side. Especially if power goes out, you can see it looks like there's 4 LEDs in there, and it's kind of prismatic, so it's kind of distributing that light. That's going to be great for being able to have a little family time with whoever you're huddled up with. We have an off button here, and then if I move this, I bet that's going to allow us to charge. It looks like got a red light there, but I think that's going to give us that power out that we're looking for. And if I swing it over to this side, I think we're going to get a siren. That's pretty loud. Then we have your radio controls right here. It looks like we have FM, AM, SW1 and 2, which are usually weather 1 and 2, the NOAA Alert, and music. Okay, so I think the music would be from this SD card. So first of all, I'm just going to go to FM. I'm going to deploy the antenna here just because we're kind of shielded, and so you pick that channel here, and then you control it with the power button right here. Okay, so now because we're on FM, it's going to be this this upper ring, I think. So I'm going to use these to kind of dial into like a country or something.
To breathe again.
Yeah, baby.
Right now, there's some things that I can do. I can.
Okay, so we get radio.
Some things I can move
I'm
it
going to
around.
go here to AM.
And we got imagine. And if we just
Not sure where the weather bands are around here. If I slide it over here to alert, we get an alarm just like that, and ooh, I can control the volume there, and then like I said, music, and then you have your music controls up here. So I mean, this is just a great little device to have, in an emergency. It provides you light, it provides you a connection with the outside world so that you know what's going on. You can crank it in a pinch, but if you do have daylight, sunlight, you can just let it charge up that way. So I think it does everything, including keeping you entertained. Throw in some music and you won't go stir crazy. Have a little bit of ambiance, right? It's a good way to survive. So the cool thing about this thing is the iRonsnow devices for me have been really, really reliable. I really like it, and they're not that expensive, and so it's particularly cheap insurance if you live in an area where you might have a situation, for like the people in Hawaii, or there was an earthquake off of Portland, I think. So anything can happen anywhere. That's what I'm getting at. So these things are kind of worth picking up, having around. Hopefully you'll never need it, but if you do, you're going to be glad you have it. So I'll put a link to this one in the description so you can pick one up on Amazon. Peter Von Panda, out. Interestingly, I was texting one of my friends, and I was like, hey, what are you doing to get prepped for the hurricane? And she's like, well, I filled up my bathtub with water. And I was like, oh, that's great. She's like, I'm not sure why I'm doing that, but I was like, oh, it's, well, for drinking water if you lose your water supply. I was like, what about battery power for your cell phones? If you, lose power. And she's like, oh, I don't have one of those. And I was like, ugh. That's kind of one of those things you will want to do. FYI, if that's a situation that you run into, only have one person's cell phone on. That'll give you like a day of charge, and then you can turn on the next person's phone, right? So if there's two of you, at least you can get a couple days out of it, as opposed to everyone having their phone on all at one time. All right.